What's up everybody? In this video we're going to create a fully custom painted wood cutout of one of my favorite video game characters of all time, Link. I first started out by drawing the line work of Link and how I wanted him to look and the iconic items I wanted to showcase with him. In the design layout I wanted to incorporate my two favorite Zelda games, the Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening. Using the body and face style of the younger Link from Link's Awakening and bringing in some of my favorite items he used in the Nintendo 64 classic, the Ocarina of Time. Coloring in the body I stuck with the classic colors of green, yellow, and brown that have always made Link stand out so much to me. I'm planning to create many more art projects like this one, so be sure to subscribe, follow along, and let me know which character or item you want to see be made next. I've always liked the style of the sword from the game Link's Awakening and how it had such a little handle, but the blade itself is super wide and made a really bold statement when young Link was holding it. For the shield, you can't go wrong with the legendary Hylian shield that could be purchased or found by young Link in the Ocarina of Time. I swear, every time I discovered a new item while playing Zelda, it made the game feel even more special and motivated me to keep playing the game just to see what else I could uncover. Of course, I had to have Link sporting his little boots from the Kokiri tribe, also known as the Children of the Forest. For the area that Link stands on, I aimed for an island forest inspired platform that stands out while complementing Link's clothing. I also needed something that would hold all of Link's items I wanted to display. One of my all-time favorite items from the Ocarina of Time video game was the fairy bottle. Something about the bottle always made it look so cool, and the fact that it held Link's fairy companion Navi made it much better. Link's Slingshot is another one of my favorite items from the game. Adding it into this piece was a must. I'll never forget testing it out at the shooting gallery in the Hyrule Marketplace. The Rupee bag, also known as the adult wallet, is another iconic item from the game that I had to add into this design. It matches Link's style so well and he definitely needs something to hold all of his money. Just seeing these little rupees always reminds me of the Zelda games. The sound it made when picking them up and using them to buy all types of awesome items. I was happy with the color and layout for the drawing of Link and was now ready to print it out and start getting some shapes ready for the cutting of the wood. Once the design is fully printed out on paper, I begin to cut out each individual piece. This part of the project can be a little tedious, but a little paper stop motion always makes up for it. Now I begin to trace the outlines of the different shapes I cut out onto wood. The wood I decided to use for this project was actually skateboard wood. The concave of the board shapes definitely made it a challenge when layering all the pieces together, but knowing this wooden Link was made entirely out of skateboards made the struggle worth it. The wood cutting process was pretty straightforward. I cut the larger parts of wood that I wouldn't be using to narrow it down to the shapes I'd be cutting with the scroll saw. The traced outlines made it a lot easier to see what I was getting into. This was actually the first project where I got to use the scroll saw. It made cutting small shapes so much easier than using the jigsaw for everything, and I can't wait to use it for more upcoming wood projects. I did run into a little snag in the scroll saw cutting process. Luckily, with some wood glue, it was a pretty easy fix and was unnoticeable in the finished piece. I've always loved watching unboxing videos, so I squeezed in this little safety mask unboxing for those that enjoy watching the same. For the sanding process, I mainly just had to get this one graphic off the back of this skateboard for a smooth painting surface and then clean up the edges on everything else. Instead of having the backside of this project look plain, I wanted to add the iconic Triforce logo in a repeat pattern. Even though it won't be seen by most people, it wasn't too time consuming and I really wanted to incorporate such an important logo from the Zelda games into this project in some way. For the painting process, I start out with a white base coat for the side I'm going to be doing all of the artwork on. A cool trick I learned to get the outline of the design on wood is to take the old paper cutouts and fill the back of them in with a pencil. Then you lay them down on the wood cutouts and trace over the lines with a ballpoint pen to give a guide on where to color in the paint and the details. One of the most enjoyable parts of these wood cutout projects is painting the details on them and seeing them start to take shape. For the head and body, I blocked out certain portions and spray painted the larger areas and then used paintbrush and marker for the details. I had a good time painting Link's face because I finally got to see these blank cuts of wood finally start to show signs of life. Link's ears and hat really make him stand out as the character he is, so I really wanted to make these parts of his body look clean. The areas that won't be seen on the finished piece I color in all black. Now onto the hair, which is a pretty big piece on Link's body that really stands out. It was pretty straightforward, adding some details so it didn't look too flat. I actually had a really good time painting Link's boots. Trying to find the right color browns for shading was a challenge. I made the socks extra long because I didn't know at this point how far I wanted them to sit away from his body. For the belt, I spray painted the larger area of color and struggled a bit with the small details. I definitely want to get a better set of paintbrushes for my upcoming projects. If you know any good brush sets for small details, please let me know in the comments. The way I designed the wood cutout for the fairy bottle was for it to be placed in front of some foliage of the platform. I first painted the greenery, then laid down a light coat of blue to give it that see-through effect of a clear bottle. This piece was also super fun to do because it was one of my first times trying to get that clear glass effect look with spray paint. The Rupee wallet is another wood cutout I wanted to have attached to a piece of the grassy area, so when I layer it on top of the platform, it would stand out more and give that 3D effect. For the rupees themselves, I decided to go with blue, green, and red, sort of clumping them together in a pile to be laid down next to the wallet on the finished piece. The Hylian shield is a huge standout piece on Link's body, so I really wanted to nail down all the details. When the whole layout is assembled, the shield is actually larger than the body of young Link himself. The inner parts of the shield have this beveled look to them, so I used a fine point paint pen to line them out the best I could. Overall, I was pretty satisfied with how the final look of the shield came out. The Slingshot was actually one of the smallest wood pieces I painted with the exception of the rupees. I really enjoyed painting the little items like this one because I didn't have to worry about taping anything off and spray painting. I could just dive right in with paintbrushes and pens. For the sword, I cut it so it would be one piece with the arm and hand. It's another part of Link that really stands out quite a bit because of how large it is and almost outweighs his body and goes very well with the shield. I spent a decent amount of time painting the platform Link was going to be standing on. I knew it was going to be the base of all the little items that were going to be sitting on it. The extra tall rectangle in the middle was going to be hidden by the body but used for support to hold everything together. I did some fun little details around the bottom of the base and spent some extra time on the shading and the highlights of the grass shrubs. Now with all the wooden cutouts finally painted and shiny with their gloss coat, it's time to combine them. I was very particular on how I laid everything out, making sure certain parts had more depth than others when stacked on top of one another. My favorite part of these wooden cutout projects is the 3D look they give when completed after all the layers are grouped in the right places. I mentioned earlier that layering skateboard wood can be a bit difficult because when stacking it on top of one another, they don't always lay flat because of the concaved wood, but some long screws and wood glue can go a long way. Now, after all the time spent on this wooden cutout of Link, it's finally time to see the end result. I'm very happy with how this wooden cutout of Link came out. This project definitely took longer than expected and had quite a few speed bumps along the way, but it was well worth seeing one of my favorite video game characters come to life out of wooden shapes. I really appreciate you checking out the video and seeing the final outcome. I plan on making and filming many more of these wooden sculpture cutouts, so definitely leave a comment letting me know what you want to see be made next. Whether it be your favorite video game character, item, anything really, just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And once again, thanks for watching.